My dear friends, my brothers and sisters, there comes a time in life when everything around you feels heavy. The noise in the world becomes louder than the peace inside you. You feel stuck, not because the world is holding you back, but because your own thoughts are weighing you down. And in that moment, one truth becomes very clear: if you don't control your mind, it will control you. Today we're going to talk about how to take control of your mind for a peaceful life. My name is Muniba Mazari, and I'm a motivational speaker. If you're new to my channel, subscribe and start a new journey with me. Here are some key areas we'll address today. Your thoughts are not facts. What you feed grows. Discipline builds. Mental freedom. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Silence is your superpower. And train your mind like you train your body. So don't skip the video. It's going to be an interesting lecture. If you like this content, you can appreciate me with a like, subscribe, and comment. Not every thought that enters your mind deserves your belief. But too often we believe every single one, especially the ones that hurt the most. We think, I'm not good enough, and we believe it. We think everyone else is ahead of me, and we accept it as truth. But here's the most important truth of all. Your thoughts are not facts. They're not carved in stone. They're not always rooted in reality. Many of them are just echoes of past pain, fears, or the voice of someone who once made you feel small. Your mind is powerful, yes, but it's also vulnerable. It stores everything: your childhood memories, failures, past rejections, what people said in anger, and even your own fears about the future. And from that storage, it creates thoughts. But those thoughts aren't always wise. They're often just leftovers from a time when you were hurting, confused, or afraid. You must learn to pause and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or harming me? Is it based on truth, or is it based on fear? This simple act of questioning begins to break the chain. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. You're the one who can challenge them. And yes, you're the one who can change them. Most people don't realize they're being controlled by false stories in their minds. They walk around carrying shame that doesn't belong to them. They hold on to the belief that they'll never be enough, just because someone once made them feel that way. But you don't have to carry that weight anymore. Once you realize your thoughts aren't the ultimate truth, you take your power back. You become free to choose which ones to believe and which ones to let go. Overcoming this isn't instant, it's a practice. Every time a negative thought pops up, stop and reason with it. Ask yourself, where is this thought coming from? Is this something I would say to someone I love? Because if you wouldn't say it to someone you care about, why say it to yourself? This journey requires patience. But every time you catch a negative thought and replace it with something kinder, something truer, you're rewiring your brain. You're not denying your experiences, you're choosing to rise above them. You're choosing healing over hurt. You're choosing clarity over confusion. And most importantly, you're choosing to see yourself not as broken, but as becoming. Your thoughts will always come and go. But with awareness, compassion, and reasoning, you can stop letting the wrong ones define you. You are not what you think on your worst day. You are who you choose to become, thought by thought. That's where your power begins. Everything you feed your mind, your heart, and your soul grows. It's a simple truth, yet we often forget it in our daily lives. Just like a plant needs water and sunlight to grow, your thoughts and emotions need attention to survive. What you focus on becomes your reality. If you constantly feed your mind with fear, negativity, and self-doubt, don't be surprised when your life starts to reflect that. But if you choose to feed your mind with hope, gratitude, and strength, you'll begin to see change, real, lasting change from the inside out. Understanding this truth begins with awareness. Many people live their lives on autopilot. They don't realize how much content they consume, how many negative conversations they participate in, or how harshly they speak to themselves. Every word, every thought, every piece of information is either planting something helpful or harmful in your mental garden. If all you're planting are weeds, doubt, anger, jealousy, fear, then your mind will become a wild field of chaos. But when you start planting peace, love, purpose, and self-belief, everything changes. It's not about denying negativity. Pain will come. Will you water the pain, replay the failures, and dwell in the failures? Will you allow yourself to feel the emotion and then shift your focus towards something healing, something true? You can't control every thought that pops into your head, but you can choose which ones you give your energy to. That's the difference between being controlled by your mind and leading it with intention. Overcoming negative patterns takes practice. You must learn to be selective about what you give your attention to. If something drains your peace, question it. If a thought makes you feel smaller, don't feed it, starve it. Replace it with something that strengthens you. If a relationship or habit pulls you away from who you want to be, ask yourself why you're still feeding it your time and energy. You have a limited amount of emotional and mental space each day. Spend it wisely. This is where reasoning comes in. Ask yourself, is this thought or action adding value to my life or taking it away? Will this grow something I want in my life or something I'll later have to heal from? Every time you answer these questions honestly, you begin to take back control. You become the gardener of your own life, choosing carefully what stays and what must go. Every moment you're feeding something, either your growth or your fears. So feed your faith, feed your courage, feed your compassion, because whatever you give life to inside your mind and heart eventually becomes the life you live. Most people think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the truth is, that kind of freedom often leads to chaos, not peace. Real freedom, the kind that gives you clarity, purpose, and strength, comes from discipline. It may sound strange at first, but the more you discipline your mind, your habits, and your choices, the more control you gain over your life. Discipline doesn't imprison you. It actually sets you free. Think of the days when you give in to every distraction, delay important work, skip the routines you know are good for you. In the moment, it feels easier. But later, it creates stress, guilt, and regret. That is not freedom. But when you wake up early, even when it's hard, when you stick to your promises, when you say no to the easy path in favor of what truly matters, then you feel proud, in control, and calm. Discipline trains your mind to focus. It teaches you to act with intention, not emotion. It's the quiet voice that says, do it anyway, even when you don't feel like it. And the more you listen to that voice, the stronger it becomes. That's how discipline builds trust within yourself. You stop being a slave to your fears or laziness. You start being led by your values and goals. Overcoming the resistance to discipline is not easy. We're wired for comfort, not challenge. Your mind will always look for the shortcut, the excuse, the delay. But this is where growth happens. The moment you choose what's right over what's easy, you break a pattern. You begin to rise above your old self. You stop letting your feelings decide your future, because feelings are temporary, but results are long-lasting. When you train yourself to stay focused, to wake up on time, to exercise, to keep your word, you're not just building a routine, you're building character. You're shaping a mindset that can face anything because it's no longer controlled by temporary emotions. That's what discipline gives you, the power to stay calm in the storm, steady in the chaos, and strong in the struggle. Ask yourself, what kind of freedom do I want? The kind that disappears the moment things get hard, or the kind that stays with me because I earned it? One small choice at a time. Real freedom comes from doing what's necessary even when it's not easy. And that's what discipline teaches you. It teaches your mind to listen to reason, not reaction, to serve your future, not your fear, and that's how you rise. Not in loud moments, but in the quiet, consistent choices no one sees. Emotions are powerful. They can lift you to the highest joy or pull you into deep sadness. But it's important to understand that emotions are not here to control you. They're here to guide you. They are messengers, not masters. They show up to tell you something about your experience, your pain, your joy, or your fears, but they should never be the ones making decisions for your life. If you let emotions lead every action, you'll live in reaction instead of reflection. And a life ruled by reaction often leads to regret. Understanding emotions begins with acceptance. Many people are taught to ignore their feelings. They're told things like, don't cry, stay strong, or get over it. This creates a habit of running away from emotions instead of listening to them. But avoiding feelings doesn't make them disappear. It only makes them louder over time. The truth is, every emotion has a purpose. Anger might be a sign that your boundaries were crossed. Sadness may be a call to heal. Fear could be telling you to be careful, or it could be reminding you that you're about to grow. When you listen to your emotions without letting them take over, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. But understanding is only the first step. The next step is learning how to respond rather than react. When something painful happens, it's easy to let emotions lead the way, or even hurt yourself or others with your words. These reactions feel right in the moment, but they often leave behind damage. Overcoming this takes practice. It means learning to pause. It means creating space between the feeling and the action. That space is where wisdom lives. That space is where you choose your response with intention. It means learning to reason with your emotion. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Is it helping me or harming me right now? Do I need to act on this or just let it pass? Emotions are temporary. They rise, they peak. What the consequences of emotional reactions can last far longer. That's why you must not allow temporary emotions to create permanent damage. You have the right to feel, but also the responsibility to respond with clarity. You allow yourself to cry, but you don't drown in your sorrow. You allow yourself to feel anger, but you don't burn down everything in your path. You feel the fear, but you still take the step forward. That's emotional strength, not avoiding feelings, but holding them with care and responding with courage. Emotions are not your enemy. They're part of being human. But you are more than what you feel in a moment. You are the one who decides what to do with those feelings. But you can tick what to do. When you stop letting emotions rule you, you begin to rule your life with purpose, power, and peace. In a world that never stops talking, silence is often misunderstood. People mistake it for weakness, for lack of confidence, or for not knowing what to say. But silence, when used with purpose, is a powerful force. It's not emptiness, it's space. Space to breathe, to think, to heal, to observe. When you learn to embrace silence, you begin to hear the things that truly matter. Your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions become calmer. Your choices become wiser. Silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of awareness. Understanding the strength of silence begins with noticing how noise affects you. Constant opinions, endless distractions, loud environments, these things can drain your energy and scatter your thoughts. When your mind is always full of outside voices, there's no room to hear your own. Silence allows you to return to yourself. It gives you clarity. It becomes the mirror that reflects what's really going on inside. Without that mirror, it's easy to lose yourself in the chaos. Silence is also your shield in conflict. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every argument needs your energy. When you choose silence instead of reacting out of anger or ego, you're not surrendering, you're mastering yourself. It takes more strength to stay silent than to say something you'll later regret. Silence shows control, not weakness. It's the choice to respond with wisdom, not with impulse. Overcoming the discomfort of silence is a journey. At first, it may feel awkward. You might feel pressure to fill every quiet moment, to prove yourself, to defend your point. But silence doesn't mean you don't have something to say. It means you're choosing when and how to say it. It means you're giving yourself the time to speak with purpose, not just noise. When you master silence, you begin to act from intention, not reaction. Silence also deepens connection with yourself and others. When you sit with your own silence, you begin to understand your needs, your values, your truth. When you offer silence to others, you give them space to express, to be heard, to be seen without interruption. That's a gift we rarely give in today's fast-paced world. Silence teaches patience, presence, and empathy. It brings depth to your relationships and peace to your soul. Reasoning with silence means asking yourself, is now the time to speak or the time to listen? Am I reacting or responding? Is my silence avoiding something or creating space for something better? These questions turn silence into power. Because silence is not just about holding your tongue. It's about holding your ground. It's about protecting your energy. It's about choosing your words wisely and sometimes not using any words at all. In the quiet moments, you grow. In the silence, you find your strength. While the world rushes to speak, the wise learn to listen. And in that stillness, they discover something most people miss. Peace is not always found in noise. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. We often understand the importance of training our bodies. We go to the gym, eat healthy, stretch, and build strength with time, effort, and consistency. But we forget that our minds also need training. Just like muscles, your thoughts, focus, and emotions must be exercised, shaped, and strengthened over time. A strong body without a strong mind can still crumble under pressure, but a strong mind will carry you through even the hardest of days. That's why it's important to train your mind like you train your body daily, intentionally, and with patience. And with patience, training the mind starts with awareness. You have to notice what kind of thoughts you're feeding yourself every day. Are you fueling your mind with doubt, fear, comparison, and negativity? Or are you choosing thoughts of hope, purpose, belief, and peace? The same way you choose what to eat for your body, you must choose what to feed your mind. Negative thinking doesn't just appear, it grows from repetition. But so does confidence. So does discipline. The more you practice positive, focused thinking, the more your mind learns to stand strong. Understanding the power of mental training also means accepting that it takes time. Just like you won't build muscles in one workout, you won't build mental strength in one day. It takes daily work reading something uplifting, writing your thoughts down, practicing gratitude, setting goals, managing your time, and pushing through discomfort. Your mind, like your body, responds to consistency. Even on the days when you don't feel like showing up, the act of showing up makes you stronger. Overcoming mental weakness is not about never feeling tired, sad, or afraid. It's about building the inner power to keep moving forward in spite of those feelings. When you train your body, you know pain is part of growth. The same goes for the mind. You will face failure, rejection, and fear, but those moments are not setbacks, they're part of your training. Every challenge becomes a weight that strengthens your mental muscle. Every time you push through, you become more focused, more grounded, more capable. Reasoning with your mind also means questioning your habits. Just like unhealthy food harms your body, unhealthy thoughts harm your peace. Ask yourself, is this belief helping me grow or holding me back? Is this thought true or just a fear speaking? Is this routine building my future or wasting my time? These questions help you become your own mental coach. They help you stay accountable and disciplined even when it's hard. When you take mental training seriously, your entire life starts to shift. You become calmer under pressure. You stop reacting to every little stress. You find strength in silence, clarity in chaos, and peace in progress. Just as a fit body can run long distances and lift heavy weights, a trained mind can face hard days and still stay grounded. The journey is not easy, but the transformation is worth it. Because when your mind is strong, you are unstoppable. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my dear.